Yep, and we are, it looks like, live here on the channel. And got an exciting watch to talk about that was just announced. I guess it was just announced. I just learned about it. So we're going to talk about that. It could be a good heavy use watch, just like this puppy right here. We like heavy use watches on this channel. We make no bones about it. Let me get this up here. Exciting watch to talk about that was just announced. Well, a bunch of people in the chat already. Bunch of people in here. I started 3 minutes early, folks, and you guys are already in. A bunch of the Wrench Gang folks are in the house. Our Wags is in the house. Carlos is in the house. Blue Shirt Buddha's in the house. They've been having a conversation here in the chat. Wow, look at that 9F Beast. Doesn't seem like GS is going smaller with their divers yet. It is a little smaller than this watch, though. I'll grant them that. But we're going to talk about that. I agree with you. I think they need to go certainly slimmer. They could have made, since it's a 9F, they could have made it 12 mils thick. I talked about that in one of the forums earlier. I made a comment about that. But first, I want to thank a viewer. And honoring that viewer, I'm wearing a Gitman Brothers shirt right now. And they contacted me. They had seen one of my videos where I talked about Gitman Brothers shirts, and they noted the size that I wore, and they said that they wanted to send me a Gitman Brothers shirt. They had a Gitman Brothers shirt that's my size, that doesn't fit them. I don't know if they put on weight or what happened, but anyway, they said it's in mint condition, and they're going to send it to me. So how cool is that? They're going to send me a Gitman Brothers shirt made in Pennsylvania. That's pretty cool. So that's how that works. All right, so here we go. That's the SBGX 337. We're starting the show actually a couple minutes early here. SBGX 337. And according to this website, this is Japanese. I have it translated into English for the Englanders here. According to this translation, it is 43.6 millimeters, so it's a hair smaller diameter-wise than the watch I'm wearing now, the 231. The thickness is 13 millimeters. Mine is 14 millimeters, a diver I have on my wrist right now. And of course, it's a 9F movement. What's really cool, what I really like about this thing, obviously the dial is striking. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty neat, the dial. I like that blue and I like the yellow. It'll be interesting to see in real life if it's that color blue or if it's a real dark blue like my GMT, like this stunner right there that in that kind of lighting looks actually almost black. And we're going to stop it at the straight up. Oops. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was going to try to pause it, but I didn't hit the freeze frame in time. Well, there's the freeze frame. So for my buddy who says, oh, nothing lines up. Again, you can't tell by these photos. Like that photo right there, it looks like the hour hand is a little bit shy of the 5. Of the center of the 5 marker, but in real life when you look at it, it's spot on. And see, if we let the second hand go on around, you'll notice there will be times when it will point, like right there, it almost hit the marker, almost, it's a little bit shy of the marker. Now watch as it goes around, that variance will change. See how it's changing quite a bit there? And it's not just the parallax effect, it's also distortion in lenses and just the camera angle itself. But notice right there, it's hitting right on the hash mark right there. Okay? And then again right there, now it's off the hash mark. So folks, it's called camera angles. So don't trust anything you see in a photograph. I'll put it that way. Look at it in real life. But getting back to this stunner, I'm guessing that it's a more blue, and that it's going to actually look blue like that in real life. That's pretty striking. I think it's pretty striking. Let me know in the chat what you guys think about the looks of it. Personally, I like the case shape and all on this watch, and I like the crown at 3 o'clock. I guess I'm more traditional. I just like the shape and the look of this case and everything. Yeah, but this one, I mean, I have to admit, it is a stunning watch. I mean, it does look stunning. And it's quite a bit less money. It's $3,800 list price. And more importantly, you're getting a watch that can take significant abuse. The 9F movement in that case, with that heavy-duty screw-down crown and everything, I mean, you talk about a robust solution. That is pretty freaking amazing, if you ask me. Let's see here. Let me get in the chat here. There's a lot going on in the chat. R. Wags, Carlos, when are you coming to Indy? 4:50 a.m. here. Have to get ready for work during the show. Tom is in motion, making things happen. Are these available yet? True Liberty. I don't think so. It says June 2019 it will be released. That's what it's saying right there on that website. I don't know if anybody has any early copies of it or not. I don't know if there are any of them out in the wild or not. They never give me any information. I'm the last one to know, folks. Grand Seiko folks don't care much about this channel one way or the other. They just ignore us. So there's that. Not that I'm bitter. So let's see here. Sorry to hear that, Carlos. Well, wait. Wags, let's see next year. This year is not our year. Oh, okay. So he's not going to make it this year. Okay. See what that's about. Okay, so it seems that McLaren needs more time to put everything together. Okay. And Thomas is in the house. Let's see here. And Mark's in the house. PG's in the house. Fan Mac is in the house, evening from the UK. Craig, are you joining Watchbox anytime soon? Well, that was interesting news. And that's, that really illustrates what I was saying previously about Archie Luxury. If he would have taken a little more of the high road and stayed away from the nastiness and all that, he would probably be working for them and making six figures or whatever they're paying this gentleman. Because Archie would be great working for that organization. That organization has a lot of money. And I talked about this. I talked about Archie would have had all kinds of opportunities as far as corporate sponsorships and partnerships and all kinds of things he could have done. Because let's face it, the high-end watch world, I mean, there's a lot of money floating around in that world, and there's a lot of money for promotion floating around. Look how many events Rolex sponsors. I mean, look how much money they throw around. If Archie would have taken a little more of the high road, I think he could dip into some of that money, or at least a lot more than he is dipping into. But anyway, everybody chooses their own path. As far as me joining Watchbox anytime soon, no, that's not going to happen. First of all, I'm too old. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. And I never work for anybody. I work for myself. Now, I do have clients that I refer to as sponsors that pay me for work I do. But working for a corporate entity like that, I don't think that would work very well. I'm too independent. So there's that. But congratulations on that gentleman for doing that. I don't know if I'd want to live in Philadelphia either. He talks about how great Philadelphia is. Don't know about that. Not these days. But anyway, I guess there's some parts that are okay. I hope he doesn't get stabbed. Let's see, what else are we doing here? How are you watches after the swim yesterday, Craig? Everything's working great. I had I took the GMT out for a walk today, and the bright sun, for once today we had bright sun, It's been rainy almost every day since I got it, and cloudy and nasty. Let me show you some photos that I took. Let me see here. Give me a moment. Let me figure this out. I'll show you some photos I took today out in the sun. And I don't know how I get out of this. I'm in the slideshow program. Let me see if I can get out of this. Okay, here. Give me a moment. This computer reacts slowly. Oh, Steve. Steve. Hello. We're live. Are you going to Skype in? Okay. I'll probably still be live. So yeah, just do it as close to 6 as you can. Oh, so you're just headed down there now? Okay. Well, you might not even get there. Are you just now leaving Gambrels? Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, if you're there and you can call in on Skype, then do it. We'd love to hear a report from the field. All right. Carry on. Yep. All right. Steve is headed down to an event in Georgetown. Talk about affluent areas. And he's headed down to Georgetown. And he might call in later and give us a report. It's a really cool event he's going to. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to show you some of the pictures that I took today out in the sun. I was playing out in the sun with the GMT and playing, and look how it plays with the light. Isn't that kind of cool? The way you get that little starburst and that color starts coming out, and the photos still really don't do it justice. I mean, it looked amazing out there in the light. When I was like tilting my wrist, when I had it on the wrist, I got it in the hand there, but just easier to take a photo. But I was walking and I was just noticing, as I looked at the watch, I was just noticing how it was playing with the light and the colors coming out on the dial. And again, there's that profile. See, this is why I wish they'd have made that diver 12 mils thick like this watch is here. That's a perfect width. Of course, remember the classic Rolexes? A lot of the Submariners were 12 mils. Now they're a little thicker than that. Of course, the Day-Dates, a lot of them were 12 mils thick. That seems to be a sweet spot for an all-around watch that you can wear just about any time. See how nice and trim that is? And of course, you've seen on the wrist how trim it is. But yeah, it was just really doing some amazing things with the lighting today. So I had to grab my camera and take a few snapshots. I took a few with the iPhone, but they didn't look that great. So I grabbed my Sony with the 24 mil Zeiss lens and grabbed a few shots. So let's zoom in on this one. Let's see how we can do this here. If we go back here and say view all sizes, let's grab the original. Let's see how much we can zoom in on this puppy. Whoa. The problem when you zoom in is you get every little speck of dust and pollen, and I tried to wipe it off, but you can't get all that stuff off. But there you go. Look at that light popping off of that thing. How cool is that? How cool is that? The GMT. The GMT. There's a little of that starburst popping out. Look at that light reflecting off that second hand. I think the light was actually reflecting off the second hand and bouncing onto the dial and just doing some wild things. So that's pretty freaking cool, folks. I don't care what any of you guys say. That's pretty freaking cool. Let me know in the chat what you all think about that, as the aforementioned Archie Luxury would say. And let's see if we got any other interesting pictures here. Well, that's not working. Let me go back here. Whoa. Look at that. That looks pretty cool. Looking pretty cool there. Okay, got the little minus sign there on the picture. I guess you can't get rid of that once you click the zoom option. I guess that little minus sign stays there. So there you go. The GMT floating around in space, playing in the light. That's what that is. Okay, so let's see here. Blue Shirt Buddha, he's going to be listening on his way home. After your last show, placed order for GS SBGN 005 had to be done. Mark in the house, where did you order it from? Do you have an AD near you, or how did you swing that? Give us details. We want gory details on this channel. And how soon are you going to get it? We want all the details. We're salivating for details on this channel. We're a detail channel. It looks like a really nice watch. I love the blue dial. Thomas in the house. The trouble with this piece, it has the Rolex Maxi case going on. Oh, are you talking about the new one? You're talking about, whoops, jeez, let me get out of this, okay. Are you talking about this one here? It does have a little bit of that. I'll grant you. That's why I say I don't really like the case design on this one as much as the case design on my diver. My diver, the lugs are more tapered and more rounded, but this is that look that they have on some of their watches that they're going for. I still think it looks better than the Maxi case. That's not saying much. Just about anything looks better than the Maxi case. You know, at least it does have those facets, and it kind of tapers, and it has that kind of like Seiko look, that kind of I don't know, masculine, just kind of like industrial, kind of heavy duty look to it. Whereas with the Maxi case, it just looks like they just screwed up the design. I mean, it's just screwed up. This one, you can at least justify it somewhat as a kind of an industrial, angular, kind of heavy duty look, if you will. But yeah, I'm with you. I like this design much better. I'm not going to clamor to buy this one. I'll put it that way. But again, for $3,800, that's a lot of heavy-duty use case watch right there. How come your GS diver never had this issue? How come your GS diver never had this issue? Please explain what issue we're talking about. I'm lost at this point. Not intended to tease, but I can see a kind of super case on the 337. Is that super case and maxi case, is that interchangeable terms? Yeah, I agree with you. We just talked about that. Absolutely. RJ Lane, prefer crowned at 3. There you go. If your name comes up for Pepsi, will you still buy it? Tom in the house, I will go and look at it, and it's got to blow me away for me to buy it. Now, if the market is still super, super hot, I might buy it and flip it. I'm not above that. That's a possibility that I would buy it and flip it. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, let's say that the market price is at like $18,000 conservatively. And I know that I can buy it for around 10, whatever MSR, what's MSRP, whatever it is, okay? If I know I could flip it for a quick $5,000 profit, and do it quick, I would not have an issue with doing that. No issue whatsoever with doing that. Needs a matching blue bezel like the Smurf. It's good point. I mean, this looks kind of striking, though. It gives you that nice contrast. It looks kind of striking. I'd have to see it both ways. It might be too much blue, especially that lighter color there. I'd have to see it in real life, both ways, and see what would be the best option. They don't consult me, though, on these issues. I'd be happy to tell them how to design a watch properly. Can you imagine? They'd be like, who is this guy? What's that gold thing hanging from your shirt pocket? This is a DuPont, SG DuPont ballpoint pen. That's what that is. I've got a video on my channel talking about DuPont pens. I've got a couple of them, and I've got featured them in my channel. I've never had one leak, and they've always worked. I use them, and I use Fisher Space Pens. Fisher Space Pens are good for, like, if you want to have something in the glove box of your car and you know you're going to grab it, it's always going to work. And temperature, it's not sensitive to temperature. It's going to work in any temperature situations. You get little globs of ink sometimes with the Space Pens, though, because of that gooey ink that they use. So that's the downside to them. But the upside is they always will work. For years and years, they'll work. You can sit in your glove box for 10 years. You can pull it out. It's going to write. Doesn't dry up. I doubt it's six figures. I would think they would have had to pay him pretty decent money for him to relocate and do all that. I would be kind of surprised if it's not at least $100,000 a year. I'd be surprised, because Golfberg, they've got money, and they're known to, be willing to pay. I bet you they pay Tim, significantly more than that. Be my guess. Maybe not. Maybe I'm all wet on that. Let's see here. It'd be interesting to know if we could get any facts on that, on how much they're actually paying him. Rumors are flying, I'm sure. Greetings, Craig, from Riverside, California. There you go. There's that GMT clicking along. Craig is his own man. Well, there you go. And, I've had people accuse me in the past of, like, being in the bag for Grand Seiko, and I talk about Grand Seiko so much. Hey, the reason I'm talking about Grand Seiko is I've got two of them, for gosh sakes, and I wear them. When I was wearing Rolexes, I was talking about Rolexes, okay? And also, the other reason why I talk about Grand Seiko is obvious, in that Steve at Little Treasury Jewelers, he is a client of mine. He sponsors some of my community websites. I cover some of his events. He pays me to do that. I'm a professional photographer, videographer, whatever you want to call it. He pays me to do some of those kinds of things. And so it's a good fit. It's a nice synergy. I actually use and enjoy the watches, and I don't mind talking about them. And he's a good guy. He's a friend of mine now. I think he would consider me a friend. I consider him a friend. Hopefully he's going to be generating some content for the channel here. He's already introduced me to the folks that have the spa across from him in that same shopping center area. The gentleman with the super attractive redhead at the party. Everybody's asking about the redhead. And of course, we had no audio when they were talking. What a fail. But anyway, he introduced me to them, and hopefully they'll be doing some shows on the channel talking about all the things they do there at the spa and all that cool stuff. That'll be super cool content. So we got a lot of things. We're in motion. A lot of things are happening around here, and that's always the case. And speaking of being in motion, I was digging through some boxes the other day, actually just yesterday, and I came across my old Motorola 8000X. I think I've showed it on the channel before, but let me grab it here. This is very rare. I went on eBay and did some searching, and there's some Motorola 8000 series phones on eBay, but I couldn't find any that were an 8000X. Now, the significance of the 8000X is it was the first phone of this design. It was the first actual portable handheld cell phone after they finished their trial. I was actually part of their test in the Baltimore, Washington area where they tested the cellular system for the first time. It started in June of 1980, and it went on for a couple of years, and I had one of the prototype phones. And after that test ended in about 1983, the first commercially available phone that they issued was the 8000X. And I got one of the first ones, and I got the entire kit that goes in the car with the, you slid the battery off, and you slid it into, they call it a coffin, you slid it into this case in the trunk, and it made contact, and then you had a separate antenna on the car deck lid. I had it on the deck lid of the Lincoln. And then you had a handset, a real nice handset, Motorola handset in the car, and hands-free and all that. So the whole car kit was $5,500, I think $5,600 for the whole kit when I bought it. And these phones were $3,500 just for the phone, okay, back then, back in the day. So yes, I came across this, and of course, when you bought the whole kit, the car kit and everything, you got this leather bag with the pouch for the extra battery and all that good stuff. And I never used this, so it's like in mint condition. I did use the heck out of this phone. And I remember the bill during the trial period. The bill was about $150 a month. And that was limited on the number of minutes that you got. And if you went over on the minutes, the minutes were, primetime minutes were 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And they were 40 cents a minute back in the day. And then after that, non-prime time, it dropped down to 20 cents a minute. So that was the deal back in the day. So anyway, kind of cool to stumble across the 8000X Motorola. And I remember during the test, there were only 150 of the phones, the prototypes, in the test issued. And then they had 150 backup phones. So if something happened to your phone, like if you dropped it or something like that, or otherwise started acting up, I had to go down to the Motorola office down on 3rd Street in D.C., and they had like a service facility and thing there, and you'd go down there and they'd take the phone. It took a little while, and then they'd set up another phone and just give it back. They just do an exchange and keep you going on the thing. And back then, there were only 6 cells. There were 3 cells in Washington, D.C., and 3 cells around Baltimore, and then 1 in Columbia, Maryland in between. So there were actually a total of 7 cells total. 3 around Baltimore, 3 around D.C., and 1 in Columbia, Maryland. And that served the whole system. Of course, there were only 150 phones on the system. And that unit puts out 1 watt, whereas like an iPhone now puts out a maximum of 0.6 watts, I believe. So not even 1 watt. So there you go. And usually a lot less than that, because it's usually a lot closer to a cell. Let's see here. Philly is fine. Bad pockets, just like anywhere else. Well, there you go. What, do you live in a bubble? I live in really nice places, yeah. That's on purpose. Yeah, I don't like to be at risk unless even here, I mean, I've got security. And this is a pretty safe place. I mean, I'm right near Camp David. This place is like a fortress. But yeah, I don't like being at risk when I don't have to be. That's just me, though. Wag says, Craig, Archie should have hired you as his agent. He would have been better off. Well, he probably wouldn't listen to me, though. That's the problem. See, a lot of these people don't listen to me. R-Wags. That's the problem. And they just don't listen. What's the size and thickness of the 9F diver? Okay, so we just went through that. It is, let me pull it up here again. It is 43.6 millimeters wide, or diameter, or whatever you want to call it, and the thickness is 13 millimeters. So it's a little bit smaller than this one in both dimensions. This one's 14 mils. So there you go. Hey Craig, you're not old, just and life experienced young pup. The Gilbert in the house. Steve's in motion, literally in motion. He's headed down there. He's headed down to Georgetown. Let's see what else is going on here. Cheetown. Hey, Craig. That Cheetown's in the house. Steve's the man. Warren in the house. Warren's in the house heavy. Warren, by the way, I think he's got another one of those 600 millimeter divers incoming. He said he stumbled across one that another dealer, another authorized dealer had, and I think he's going to snag it. I think he's going to have another one in stock because they're getting hard to get. So he had an opportunity to snag one. Steve is always making things happen. Craig, do you miss having a purely mechanical watch? No, I don't. I love this spring drive. I love looking at it, just looking at that second hand, just kind of smooth around. It's freaking amazing. And I love the accuracy. I've just gotten totally spoiled. And the comfort on wrist of this diver is just super comfortable. I mean, it is nice. I got to put my bezel around here. It was off a click. There we go. It's just a super nice all-around watch. The only issue with this, if this were only 12 mils thick, and maybe a little smaller, maybe 42 mils with 12 mils thickness, then I wouldn't have needed to get that watch there. Because then I could wear the spring drive all the time, right? But it's a little bit too thick and a little bit too big to force into a dress watch situation. Whereas this one really is an all-arounder. That watch there you could really use for anything. Let's see here. So is the Seiko Prospect LX series more expensive than these new GS divers? It's a good question. I don't know. And is the Prospect, is it 9? It's probably not 9F. It's probably a mechanical watch, right? So it's apples and oranges. This new unit is reasonable in large part because it's got the 9F quartz movement in it. The 9F quartz watches are always less expensive. I mean, this one's $3,200 list price, right? So it's very affordable. That's really one of the key things is you're getting in a GS at a very affordable price, and you're getting something that's rugged, that's a great travel watch, and that is going to be extremely low maintenance. Just every 3 years, swap out the battery and keep on going. No maintenance costs to speak of. So that's really some of the advantages. The B-tube, 12 millimeters is too thick. My max is 10.5. Yeah, but 10.5, a lot of times you're not going to get the screw down crown. You're not going to get the amount of water pressure proof. It's not going to be as rugged. Okay, so there are going to be some trade-offs there. Generally speaking. So 12 mils works for me for it'll go underneath my dress cuffs and all that. At least this one will. I've already tested it. It's very trim as far as the bracelet and everything's very trim. So it'll go under even my tightest shirt cuffs. So that'll work. Now if it was 11 mils, would I be happier? Sure. But I want that screw down crown. I want it to be pretty rugged all at the same time. So I don't want to give up too much. Let's see here. Hands and indices look sharp. Okay. Check out the SBGM 227. SBGM 227. Let's see if this is it. Oh, let's go back. Hold on. I'm sorry. Here's a Japan market store that claims they have one. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. Oh yeah, this one's mechanical. There you go. So this one's a GMT, and it's mechanical. So it's kind of the same watch I have, but it's mechanical. How thick is that watch? See the specifications here. 14 mils? If it's 14 mils, if that's accurate, yeah, that's too thick. Yeah, for that particular watch. I'd pass on that. I would take a pass on that one. Okay, let's see here. Hands are fugly. Are you talking about on the new, this one? I think the hands look great. I think they look great. They're pretty much the same hands that are on my diver. Mine's titanium. I don't know if those are titanium or not. Yeah, they look great. And they're very legible. Fantastic. You should take a look at them in person. The lugs are really gross. Put this in next to the ugly watch vid. Kyle in the house doesn't like the lugs on this puppy. There you go. That's why you got the 231. You get the sexy lugs on the 231. Okay. Let's see that gold pin. Okay, you want to see it closer? All right, hold on. Hold on, puppies. Get a shot for you here. Get it. Let me focus it in, and then I'll switch to this camera. Okay, that's good enough. There you go. There she blows. There's the DuPont. This is really difficult to do, folks. I should show you the part where it has the name on it. See if we can focus in on that. There you go. SG DuPont. DuPont. A DuPont pin in the house. There you go. That's what that is. Craig, do you need a GMT function? Not really, generally speaking, not most of the time. But it's nice if you're traveling, and really the way I look at it with this watch here is it's just coming along for the ride. It doesn't get in the way. I can still read the time fine. That other hand does not really distract me. I wore GMTs for years, Rolex GMT Masters for years, and it doesn't bother me. And it is nice to be able to move that hour hand backwards and forwards and 1 hour at a time. Like when the time changes, I'll be able to do that. Without recalibrating the watch. Of course, the 24-hour hand will then be off. Yeah, I mean, there's some advantages to it. Do I need it? Not really. Let's see. It's like a knockoff Explorer 2 Black. This watch we're looking at here, I think it looks better than an Explorer 2, personally. I think they did a great job. So, yeah. Looking at the macro, I think that GS prefer stainless steel for indices and hands to be able to make the sharp and stainless steel harder than gold. Yeah, I don't think it's stainless steel, Carlos. I don't think the hands are made of stainless steel. I think they're like some kind of bronze or brass or something that's then plated. I don't think they're stainless steel. But anyway, yeah, you can look into that and try to figure that all out. They look good. They do look good. It's a step up from the Rolex GMT. Oh, absolutely, it's a step up. Absolutely. Well, you're getting Grand Seiko quality. Yes, it's like the Maxi case. Gross Kyle in the house. Looks worse than the new sub, Greg, be honest with us. Well, I don't think it looks worse. No. I don't think it looks worse than the sub Maxi case. But again, that's not saying much because the sub Maxi case is horrendous. I mean, they totally got that wrong. Totally wrong. This one, you could make an argument that it's got that classic Seiko look, and it's got that case design that a lot of classic Seikos have and Grand Seikos. A lot of people like that. It's definitely more attractive than the Maxi sub case. Would I buy this particular watch? No, I much prefer the case on this one. I said that earlier. I don't think I was unclear. Let's see here. The bezel and the dial doesn't work. It looks pretty good. Again, it's not going to be for everybody. They're kind of like, stepping outside the box a little bit here, folks. You got to give them credit for trying something different there. They don't consult me. If they would consult me, I could design a really killer watch for them that would just be like incredible. It would take me about 2 hours with one of their top designers to straighten them out and get something really epic out there that they could sell for years and years. That would be like a classic design and just stunning and very functional on wrist and very comfortable on wrist. I mean, we could hit all check boxes. It only take me a couple of hours to get them straight on that, but they're not going to, I'm sitting here by the phone waiting for it to ring, and and we'll see what happens with that. You notice it's not ringing. The phone's not ringing. Let's see what else we got here. The Rolex GMT and the 9F are different animals. One is automatic, one is a quartz. Thomas in the house. Yeah, but that's not that big a deal. From a standpoint of functionality, the fact that one's mechanical and one's quartz, I mean, they're both very robust movements that will last decades. So I think they're very much on par from a functionality standpoint and all that. Of course, the quartz is going to be a lot more accurate, but from a standpoint of everyday use and heavy use and all that, I think they're both going to hold up fine. So I think they're kind of on par as far as that goes. So that's not a big deal. Let's see. Spring drive is greater than everything. Spring drive is pretty awesome. It is pretty awesome. That's a statement of fact. Hi, Craig and all. David Williams in the house. Reminds me of Yachtmaster. Yachtmaster's a better looking watch than this puppy here. I have to tell you. The Yachtmaster is pretty awesome. And we've talked about the Yachtmaster on this channel many times. It's got a great case design. It's got the case design more like the Daytona, more like the classic, Rolex case design. It's a freaking gorgeous watch. I'm really liking everything about the new diver. I'm holding off getting me the new Seamaster 300 to see this one. Really in love with this one. True Liberty. Well, there you go. When I first saw it, and that's first impressions are important. When I first saw it, I did say, wow. I mean, that blue with the yellow, or goldish yellow markers at the 5-minute markers, it just kind of pops. In the second hand that's that color, it's just kind of cool. It is kind of cool. Let's see. Samurai meets Shokan on steroids. There you go. Rolex, 2 seconds a day. Craig's 10 seconds per year. Well, yeah. That's not a fair fight when it comes to accuracy. That's for sure. Even my My spring drive is at about 10 seconds a year, believe it or not. I mean, I think that my guess is this GMT is going to be a lot more accurate than 10 seconds a year. Remember, Grand Seiko will very often under-promise and over-deliver. So I will not be the least bit surprised if this one's within like 2 or 3 seconds a year. I mean, it's just insane how accurate these are. Let's see. You can definitely flip a Pepsi for a big profit, Craig. Warren in-house. It depends on when it comes in and if the market is still overinflated the way it is right now. And that's not going to last forever, trust me. A lot of people are going to get caught holding the bag on that. I'll go with 10 seconds per year, Andrew. Or I would take it off you for list. There you go. Warren in the house. He wants to step up and buy the Pepsi for list price. Scene's in the house. I'm not a fan of that. Looks like a chubby lady. Well, there you go. And I'll tell you what, in these United States, I don't know if it's the same all over the world. It's the same in a lot of developed countries. The latest stats are showing 2/3, and this is pretty sad, 2/3 of adults in these United States are overweight and broke. Think about that. Can you imagine being overweight and broke? Both those things? I mean, that's pretty sad. But 2/3, that's the latest stat. Pretty scary stuff to think about there. And let's see, True Liberty, I will be making a trip to Miami in June to the GS store to see that 9F diver for sure. I wonder if they're going to have it. I mean, I think it isn't a Japan market only watch. Are they going to have it in the U.S.? That's the question. I haven't heard yet if it's going to be in the U.S. market or not. I would accept $100,000 a year to move out of New York City, Cheetown, California. The number I heard was they're paying him $300,000. That's the number I heard. So I don't know what the number is, but I mean, it's not cheap to live in a decent area in Philly. Just like if you live in a decent area in New York City, it's not cheap to live in any of those cities. If you live in a decent area, and I'm sure he's going to want to live in a decent area. Otherwise, he will get stabbed. Let's see here. Looks like Gordon Gekko's phone. Yes, he did have not the same model as this, but yeah, he had an 8000 series Motorola in that scene where he's on the beach. That's right. Nice to see how has changed the technology. You know what's interesting, Carlos, is that phone was analog. It wasn't digital. Most of the time, the calls worked better and sounded better on that phone than they do on an iPhone today. The call quality was actually better. So we've gone backwards. So there's that. Phones got smaller while watches got bigger. Some of them did, yeah. And I mean, on the watch box, you got to give them credit. And look at some of Tim's videos and all. I subscribe to his channel. I get, the notification when he puts up. And I click on it and I see the thumbnails. My God, do they feature some ugly watches on that channel. I mean, it's like they go out of their way to find some ugly watches. I mean, really ugly watches. It's pretty amazing. You wouldn't think they could find that many ugly watches, but they find a lot of them. I mean, almost every day they release videos with really, really disgusting looking watches. Cheetown, California, 100K out of New York City will in most places go as far as 200K in New York City. Yeah, I would say that's probably true. Again, if you're comparing apples to apples, a nice area to a nice area. Craig, what are your thoughts on the Casio MRG? Casio. Let's see if we can find one for starters. Let's see here. Oh, for crying out loud. I hate when they got these windows popping up asking you to sign up for this, that, and the other thing, and then they want to get notifications and all this crap. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, that's an ugly watch. Yeah. Okay, that would qualify for ugly. Okay, so there you go. No, I would not wear that watch. Okay. If I want something with all kinds of functionality and that can do all kinds of stuff like that, I'd just get an Apple Watch and be done with it. At least it looks pretty decent, and it will do even more than that watch will do. Let's see here. Let's see. Casio MRG has a 5-year guarantee. Great watch. Again, guarantees are meaningless because any decent watch should last a lot longer than 5 years. I mean, it should last decades. If it's any good at all, it should last decades without having anything done to it. So to me, a 3-year warranty, 5-year warranty is meaningless. I want my watch to last decades. I've already said, if this watch were to fail after, let's say, 3 years or 2 years or whatever, whenever, if it fails, it just stops working properly, I would be done with Grand Seiko. I would never buy another Grand Seiko. I would be done. If that would have happened to me with Rolexes, same thing. I would have been done with them. There's no forgiveness here. If I'm going to spend this kind of money for a watch, it's going to work. It's going to perform pretty much flawlessly. That's what I expect. And I'm not talking about for 3 or 5 years. I'm talking about for decades. So the guarantee is totally meaningless to me. Let's see here. Wonder how the MRG compares to a 9F. Yeah, I don't think there's any comparison, okay? It's not going to run 50 years. I would seriously doubt it. Swatch Group have done a terrible job of creating hype for their event going on currently. The new releases will be unveiled in 9 hours. Okay. Hey, Craig, your mobile phone is selling for $28.99. I didn't see any. I searched on eBay, and I didn't see any of them. The 8000X. 8000X is the model that I have. So I don't know where you got that number from, Thomas. Let me know where you got it. Let's see. I heard that surprising Omega forgot to tell anyone. Okay. Let's hope the releases are worth the wait, Warren. Okay, Thomas, I believe there is a 321 Speedy with gold hands, pushers, crown, and tachometer with a steel case. And Bonpin 50 fathoms, limited edition Barracuda in 40 millimeter, which would be cool. Okay, there you go. Swanky pen. My favorite pen is a Pilot Dr. Grip. Okay. That would make sense. I would have thought there would be some sort of Speedmaster release. Orange Snook. I am on the list for 321 Speedy. Hope it will look different from the standard models. Have they improved the quality on the Speedmasters at all, or are they still kind of junky? Because I was never impressed with the quality of the Speedmasters. I mean, they were always kind of like a few steps down from a Rolex. Not even a close call. Have they gotten any better? Let's see, Warren. I already read that. 40 millimeters, 50 fathoms would be great. Thomas in the house. Current 50 fathoms is too big and blink. What size is the one that Dudley has? He has one that looks pretty cool. I also agree. I would prefer it to not be a limited, though. Less bargains to be had. The Seiko Prospex LX is titanium and has a spring drive. There you go. Yeah, if I was going to spend a bunch of money for something like that, I think I'd just get a Grand Seiko. Probably the way I would go with it. California, is the Prospect LX more expensive? Warren in the house. Chad says quartz equals nope. Yeah, the 9F, these watches with the 9F movement, they're certainly not for everybody. I mean, and when I bought my spring drive, which of course is, you could argue is quartz, or has quartz regulator, or whatever terminology you want to use. When I first bought that, Steve wanted to show me some of the 9F watches, and I just wouldn't even entertain it. But then I started learning more and more about them over the last year, and just kind of picked up, how amazing they are. And now I'm a total convert. I mean, I just absolutely love the 9F movement. It is just absolutely incredible. So no, it's not for everybody. Certainly not for everybody. Grand Seiko is not for everybody. Grand Seiko is really only for those who want the best watch, and that's their criteria. They're trying to get the best watch. They want to step up from the quality of Rolex and Omega and some of the others from a standpoint of a heavy use watch. I'm not talking about a dress watch like a Patek Philippe or whatever. I'm talking about a heavy use watch like a Rolex, an Omega. If you want to step up from those two brands, the obvious choice is a Grand Seiko. Let's see, for traveling, I believe the 9F is better not only for accuracy, but drawing less unwanted attention when you don't know your surroundings compared to the more bling Rolex GMT. Those are good points. And this one's going to be more comfortable on wrist than the Rolex GMT because it's 39 mils. It's a little bit smaller, right? Not much, but a little bit smaller. It's a little bit thinner. So those things, and of course the bracelet is thinner too. So all those things make it a little bit trimmer on wrist, so a little bit more of an all-arounder watch. The yellow accents really do look nice on the blue dial. Thomas, well said. Cannot really compare room. Casio manufacturing is a different watch from Seiko Spring Drive. Seiko Spring Drive is a more accurate watch than Mr. G has help because it can pick up the... okay. All right. I guess I know what you're saying. But anyway, if you're going to get a watch like that, just get an Apple Watch. I think it's a much better watch, much better made. Will do a lot more. It looks better. There you go. Let's see, Chad, because Americans use credit for everything and eat processed crap food in insane portions. Chad in the house talking about the 2/3 of Americans that are broke and overweight. There you go. That's a shame. But it's spreading to other countries. I remember when I first started traveling to Russia many, many years ago, everybody was in good shape. Everybody was thin, good shape, especially the girls. They were gorgeous, right? And then over the years, as like the fast food franchises and stuff started taking hold there, you saw more and more of them getting bigger, like Americans. This is what's happened is, we've exported our obesity. It's very sad, very, very sad. Brocus, pocus, and overweight. Sounds familiar. Thomas in the house. I love supermarket shopping in the U.S. and U.K. The choice of food and price is awesome compared to Asia. Tom in the house making a comparison. Craig, did you find a two-tone Rolex Oyster Quartz and a pair of Oakleys along with that Motorola? We never bought the Oyster Quartzes. First of all, I don't like integral bracelets on watches. I just think they're ugly. I've no interest in an integral bracelet on a watch. So that right there knocked them out of the park for us. So no, we never bought the Oyster Quartzes. And the Oakleys, no, we always wore Ray-Bans back in the day. I still have about 5 or 6 pairs of them laying around here. I've got a video on my channel of different Ray-Bans that I have. So yeah, that's what we wore, Ray-Bans. Jason, yeah, I was wondering how it will compare without being updated. Okay. Hey, Craig, can you see any Swiss watch manufacturer like Rolex or any of the Trinity brands countering with some kind of technology to compete with the GS spring drive and 9F movements, Gilbert? I doubt it. They don't really need to. They're selling well. Of course, Rolex, I mean, needless to say. No, I don't think they have to, and so I don't think they will. And most of the people that buy the Rolex or those other brands, they're not that concerned with accuracy. They just want the status symbol. And they want to have bragging rights that they've got this particular watch or a bunch of them. You know, for those that collect them, that have like 5 or 6 of them on all. They want to be able to brag that they've got all these watches, and half the time they don't wear them. If you don't wear the watch, the accuracy is meaningless. It doesn't matter. Accuracy only matters if you actually use the watch. If you actually have a use case for the watch. That's when accuracy comes into play. Warren is in the house, and Carlos is addressing him. Are you for 321 in gold? Are they leasing 321 in stainless steel? Maybe means releasing. Hey, Craig, can you explain the difference between the SBGA 229 and the SBGA 231? Well, this is the 231, if I'm getting my model numbers right? This is titanium, $7,100 list price, and it's got the gold on the dial where it says GS and Grand Seiko. The other model, the 229, is stainless steel, and it's less money. And for my money, I would go with the titanium. And of course, that's what I bought. It's much more comfortable on wrist. But some people like the stainless steel. You can get it obviously for significantly less money. You can get the 229. That's as far as I know, that's the difference between the two. And the only differences between the two. Pretty hard, pretty new to Grand Seiko, but I'm buying what you're selling. Just watch your 10 reasons for GS versus Rolex. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm really not trying to sell anybody anything. This channel is all about having conversations about our experiences, what we use, what we like. On my channel, I do a lot of product reviews. I call it the way I see it on any of the product reviews I do. I just put up a review today on some lights. You can see them in the background there, right over there. See those lights glowing in different colors? See they're changing colors against the wall there. Now it's red. I just put an accent light in there. And I did a review on that here on the channel, right? And so I review a lot of things. I comment on a lot of things that I use, from clothing to cars to... years ago, I even talked about motorcycles. Yeah, that's what we do on this channel. And we're not, the goal is not to sell somebody something. The goal is to share our experiences. So if we make a mistake buying the wrong thing, others don't make that same mistake. If we buy the right thing, like a piece of camera gear that really does the job for us, and we can share that, maybe we can save somebody else from buying the wrong thing. And so that's what we're trying to do on this channel is share our experiences, because I've gained a lot from watching other YouTubers do product reviews and share their information. And one reason why I do these shows is there is also a lot of misinformation out there. And so I thought there was a need for a channel where we call it the way we see it, and we're not politically correct here where we just toe the line and say, oh, you have to have a Rolex and it has to be an automatic movement, No, maybe not. Maybe that doesn't have to be the case. And so we talk about it here on this channel. So and I wore Rolexes for 40 freaking years, okay? So I know a little bit about Rolexes, and I had a bunch of them. Trust me, I did. So there's that. A couple of my buddies still have some of the watches that they bought from me over the many years. Okay, so Dudley got the limited edition mil-spec 50 fathom, which is 40 millimeters. Yeah, that's a cool watch. I think he did the right move there. There are speed measures which are better, but they stray away from the historic first watch worn on the moon. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I wouldn't want the first one worn on the moon because it's kind of not a very good watch. So yeah, I would have no interest in that. I don't want to buy a watch because it's part of history. I want to buy a watch because it's going to get the job done for me. I use my watches. They're tools for me. Craig, is the second hand hitting the mark seems way off from you? Yeah, that's a camera angle thing. The second hand, see right there, it's just about, well, it's close. Depending on where it is as it goes around, there are going to be times when it's going to hit the mark right on, and then there's going to be times when it's going to be off. It's just a camera angle thing. If you look at it in real life, it's hitting the markers every time. Spot on. So that's why I say you can't go, like right there, see it hitting the marker? You really can't go by camera shots of things like this because the camera angle will throw it off. It only has to throw it off a little bit, and all of a sudden that thing's not on that marker, right? If you take the watch in your hand and you just pivot it a little bit, one way or the other, you can see the difference. You really have to see them in person to know if things are the way they should be. So, somebody said, I need to bide my time. Maybe start with buying a Datejust 41. Those watches seem a little big to me. I would look at it real close. What size wrist do you have? Because if you don't have a huge wrist, I would just get the 36 mil Datejust. I think it's a much better all-around watch, personally. The Submariner is too common and worn by many tacky types. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about who wears what. I'd worry about what really meets the needs for you and what's going to get the job done for you, because that's what's going to make you happier, is getting a watch that really hits it for you. That checks all the check boxes and that you can afford without, jeopardizing your financial future. The richer your country is, the fatter it is. There you go. Well, it's also, like the other viewer pointed out earlier, it's the junk food. It's people are getting addicted to the crap food, and it really is like an addiction. There's a lot of problems with addiction in this country. There are people that are addicted to the drugs. There are people that are addicted to the food. There are people that, like me, that are addicted to money. Oh, boy, that's terrible. You should see the rates of diabetes and obesity in the Arab Gulf countries like Kuwait and Saudi. Too hot to walk and tons of fast food and oversized sugary drinks abound. Well, there you go. Yeah, that's not a good thing. Hey, and they get addicted to that stuff. Hey, Craig, do you have any favorite Russian timepieces? No, I don't have any Russian timepieces. I don't know that they're that well made, but yeah, no. Russian women, they can be pretty cool, but not Russian timepieces. So there's that. Craig, how much are you loving this Bitcoin run over the last couple of weeks as much as I am? Paul D. Paul, remember, what goes up will come down, so just hold on, hodl, hold on for dear life, because it's going to be a wild ride, I think. So no, you don't count your chickens till they hatch, unless you actually sold some and cashed out, which I wouldn't recommend. I'd recommend holding on. Even though A month from now, it could be down at $4,000. 2 years from now, it could be at $35,000. I mean, we don't know for sure, but those of us that are long-term holders are just going to hold. We're going to hold on for dear life. That's what we're going to do. True Liberty in the house says, Chad Francis, you're correct. Over 2 years ago, I went from 275 pounds, wow, down to 185 pounds. No more processed food, no wheat, corn, or rice. There you go. Yeah, if you eat whole foods, you're better off. I tell you, sweet potatoes are really nourishing, really good for you. Sweet potatoes, that's my recommendation. Let's see. Do you still have the gold 9FGS? No, I sold it to a subscriber, actually, on the channel here. He had to have it, bugged me, and I sold it to him, and he's tickled pink with it. Very happy with the watch. So there you go. So now I'm using this one, the GMT, as my dress watch for now. That's my dress watch for now until I get another gold stunner. At some point I'll get another gold stunner. I'm not sure what it's going to be. We will see. People sit at their computers these days too much and eat processed food. UK is getting fat too. Fatness in the UK. The Swiss can't beat the Japanese at their own game. Warren in the house, let's see, he sold the 9F to a subscriber. That's correct. Craig, Carl Womble put a link in the chat to a site where your Motorola is selling for $28.99. Okay. I wonder if it's actually selling or if that's just an asking price. I'd be surprised if it's actually selling for that. I'm not going to sell mine because it's kind of like a piece of nostalgia for me. So I'm not interested in selling it at this point in time, but at some point I might sell it. There might be a time when it's really valuable because it is the first. The 8000X was the first commercially available cell phone, basically. Because what was interesting was they came out with this model before they came out with the in-car model. They also offered a cell phone that was just in the car, fixed in the car. It didn't have the portable phone, right? And it was 3 watts. It put out 3 watts. This actually predated that, believe it or not. So it really is the first commercially available phone. It's not the first because there were the prototypes that I used during the test. Now, the prototype, you couldn't slide the battery off the back. You couldn't switch batteries. The case, it looked just like this, but there was no battery that came off the back. So it was a little bit different. Let's see. I'm English but live in Asia, Thomas. There you go. Tom, thanks. Did not know. Craig, you need to pair your safari jacket and GS diver with a Toyota Land Cruiser outfitted for overlanding. I've been looking at some Land Cruisers. The problem with Land Cruisers is you have to do major modifications to be able to tow them, flat tow them behind a motor coach, 4 wheels down. It's not that easy to do with those. I may do it anyway, but it's kind of problematic. A Suburban, you can flat tow. A 4-wheel drive Suburban, you can flat tow without hardly any major modifications. You got to get the one with the transfer case. But the Land Cruiser is a big problem to flat tow. That's the issue with those. But they're fantastic vehicles. Talk about a rugged vehicle that you can drive for decades. You talking about a Land Cruiser. Of course, it's going to use a lot of petrol. Rolex and GS go great together in a collection. There you go, Warren, in the house. Problem is, I don't know how much I would wear the Rolex. That's the problem. That's the problem. I'm wearing my green Submariner this evening. Warren Snook is wearing the green Submariner. Fat, dumb, broke, and lazy. Jeff Klein in the house calling it the way it is. That's terrible. If you want to eat rice, make it brown rice. White rice does you no favors. There you go. Chi-Town, California. Yeah, the fiber. You want the fiber to fill you up, so you feel like you're filled up. I'll tell you that sweet potatoes. I eat avocados. I eat half an avocado every day. I eat oatmeal every day. A lot of people say you shouldn't eat oatmeal, but I eat oatmeal every day, usually with a cut up either apple in it or banana in it. And I use my own almond milk. I make my own almond milk with almonds and dates. Dates are in it, and a little bit of vanilla. And it is fantastic, my almond milk. I've got a video on my channel here making it, how I make it. And what else do I eat? Trying to think what else I eat. I don't eat that much. I eat raisins. I eat grapes sometimes, pretty often actually. I do eat peanuts. You're not supposed to eat peanuts, but I eat peanuts out of Virginia. You're not supposed to eat any out of Mexico, but I eat some out of Virginia. And I do eat walnuts and what's those other nuts? Pecans. I eat walnuts and pecans. And of course, I already said peanuts. Trying to think what else I eat. I do eat fish from time to time. Not a lot, from time to time. Of course, from time to time, I have a roast beef sub from Hoffman's Market. So that's not health food, but I do from time to time have one of those. There you go. But I'll tell you what, just that sweet potato has a lot of nutrition in it, folks. I microwave sweet potatoes and cube them into my turkey chili when it's done cooking. There you go. Absolutely. What I do is I actually peel the sweet potato. I've got a peeler. And then I wrap it with a paper towel, and then I soak it with water. The whole paper towel totally soaked. And I put it in the microwave. And depending on the size of it, if it's a pretty big one, I do 5 minutes, and then I turn it over, and then I do like either 2 or 3 minutes additional, depending on how big it is. And that'll cook it all the way through, and it's good to go. And then I usually will cut it up, and then I'll take a half an avocado and just kind of spread it all over it, almost like butter on it, and a little bit of pepper, and then I might cook a little bit of salmon and put the salmon on top, the whole thing, and then that like makes a whole meal right there. So there you go. I'm eating an apple at the moment. It is my cider. There you go. All right. Let me check. Let me refresh things here. Just see what the status is. It's 6:14. It's 6:14, and Steve has not called in. I didn't think he was going to get to Georgetown that quickly. He was leaving Gambrels, Maryland, to go to Georgetown, and it was after 5 o'clock, and he thought he was going to get there by 6. No, that's not happening. Not happening. Not in this lifetime. So, should I call him? What should I do? I love Panamanian pineapple. Real pineapple flavor is not known out of the tropic because of the transport and retail chain. Yeah, it's always good to have the stuff natively right there. Down in Florida, in Sarasota, there's an Amish market right near where I stay down there, and they have the best local produce there. They're really good at what they do. And I would go there twice a week and get my produce. It really is nice to be able to get local stuff if you can, assuming it's good local stuff. I love the local tomatoes around here. The blood red, just really good tomato. Oh, that I forgot to mention that. I do put a good sized tomato in my concoction. Whenever I make my concoction with the sweet potato and all, there's always a big tomato in there. Matter of fact, I usually put it in the bowl, cut it up real good. Then I'll put the salmon on top of that. Then after the potato's cooked and all that, I take a separate bowl and I cut the potato up real good in the bowl, and then I put the avocado on it. And while I'm doing that, I'm cooking the tomato and the salmon. I'll zap it for like about 1.5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes max in the microwave just to get it nice and warm. And then I'll slide that right over top of the whole concoction with the sweet potato and all. So I've got the tomatoes and all that there. And it really comes out good. Yes, I love that Amish place. Oh, you've been there? Down in Sarasota? True Liberty? Well, there you go. Warren, I love the GS dressy watches, but also leans heavy towards sport watches, okay? I purchased her a man selling in a van just in front of my neighborhood. Great avocados and mangoes too. Well, there you go. That's the way to do it. Get the good stuff. Hey, get the good food. I mean, come on, folks. Don't put junk in your body. I mean, what is up with these people? And now I just noticed a thing pop up on my news feed that the Surgeon General or somebody has warned about tattoos, the dangers of tattoos. I guess people are getting too many tattoos or whatever, and there's some kind of issues. I mean, why on earth would somebody get tattoos? First of all, why would they get one tattoo? And then why would they get 100 of them? Are you talking about, is that ridiculous? I mean, you cannot think of somewhere to put your money other than tattoos on your body? Oh, they look good. Really? They look good? Wrong. I mean, you take a really, really stunning young lady, okay? Super attractive, gorgeous, right? And you throw a whole bunch of tattoos up her arm and so forth, right? She is not additionally attractive. Her attractiveness was not enhanced by those tats. Trust me when I tell you this. It's not a plus. Now, Audrey had those nice Led Zeppelin tats on her side right there. And it looks pretty cool just because it kind of accentuates that curve she's got. So it looks pretty good on her. But, I mean, she had gotten those before we met. And I told her, I said, you're not getting any more. And she said, that's right. I'm not getting any more. I agree with you. So fortunately, she didn't get any more, even though people pushed her to get more. But no, it's not a plus. It is not a plus. And it's not because I'm old and I'm saying this and so forth. I said this when I was 20 years old. I said it made no sense, 0 sense, to get a freaking tattoo. So what do you guys think about that? You see these pictures of these guys with real nice watches, and then they got these insane tattoos on their arm. I mean, it looks terrible. It looks absolutely terrible, right? Now, it looks bad enough on me because I got these moles and stuff, right? Because I'm old and I've been in the sun too much, right? But if I had a whole bunch of tattoos... Now, I got to grant you, the guy that plays Bosch, the character Bosch on that series, and he wears the Rolex, the tattoos look okay on him because he's kind of like a Marine type guy, like a special forces, like killer type guy, and it goes along with the persona and all that. But no, I don't think it's a good idea, folks. Tried Breitling last week, 44 and 46 millimeter, and it looked great. But Breitling is expensive, and I'm afraid it will drop. It will drop and retain value. Well, it's not going to do both. It's going to either drop or retain value. But again, it doesn't matter if a watch holds value or not. A watch is not an investment. You should buy a watch to wear and enjoy, and it should be an expense. It's not an investment. Figure it as an expense. If when you sell it, you realize some money back, that's just a bonus. But watches are very poor investments. Most people lose money if they try to use watches as investments. It's not a good move, just like tattoos are not a good move. There you go. We'll call it the way we see it, and we'll call it actually the way it is here on this channel. I would buy an everyday wear sports watch first and add a dress watch later on. Yeah, it depends on how you dress. If you wear long sleeve shirts all the time with the sleeve down, not up like mine is right now, and you need something to go underneath that cuff, then you got to make that move. But if you dress like this, or wearing a polo shirt or whatever, then it doesn't matter. You could wear this. I could wear this watch all the time. If I always had my sleeves rolled up, which is not the case, but if I did, then I would wear this watch all the time. I'd have no issues with that. Let's see here. I will get tattoos to cover STREC, strek. I'm not sure what that is. Cover stretch marks on stomach. I don't think that's going to help. I think it's going to make things worse. Led Zeppelin, there you go. That's right. That's what she's got on her. And I'll tell you what, like when I photographed this watch, you know, what photographers try to do is they try to, let me see if I can find a decent photo here to show you. Now, let's use this one. What photographers try to do whenever they can is they try to capture beauty. Okay, that's the goal. Now, unless you're trying to make money with it or whatever, you know, generally your goal is to capture beauty, right? And so when I was walking today and I saw this, the way this was catching the light and all, I said, you know, let's try to capture that. And that's the same thing with Audrey. When I was working with Audrey, I mean, the goal every time we shot a video or still photos, every time we got together, I was trying my best to capture her beauty. I mean, she's extremely attractive, and unless you saw her in person, you really wouldn't understand. Just like this watch, right? You really have to see it in person to understand how stunning that watch is, especially when the light catches it like that. But Audrey, I mean, it's the same situation. We would get together, and the goal would be to try to capture her beauty. And it was not easy to do. And I would take different kinds of shots. I would use different kinds of lighting. Here's some dramatic hard light. You know, in this particular shoot, and especially this shot here, we tried to make it kind of dramatic. And there's those tats that we were talking about on her side. And you can see how they kind of accentuate that curve. So it kind of is, if you're going to have a tattoo, if an attractive young lady is going to have a tattoo, that would be the way to do it. Of course, Audrey, anything would look good on her. So, but that's what you do. You try to capture, you try your best to capture the incredible beauty of whatever it is that you're photographing. I mean, that's basically what a photographer tries to do. And we would talk about it, and I would say, well, here's the deal. It is almost impossible to really, like especially in Audrey's case, to really capture her true, the glow. It's very hard. But in some of the photos we were successful. Let me see if I can find a really good one. And you can search keyword Audrey on my Flickr. and you can see a lot of photos. But let me find one. Oh shoot. This thing is not cooperating. Maybe we'll show a close-up. But maybe we'll just show a close-up. We'll show a quick little close-up. This one, what we did was I used the Rotolite Neos, and I had, you see the little round little catch light in her eye? That's what the Rotolite does. It gives you that catch light. And I used, let's see what lens I was using. I was using the, probably the 24-70. No, that was a Sony. So, yeah, I was probably using the 24-70. So that's not the best lens. Unfortunately, in that shoot, I did not have my 85 millimeter with me. The 85 millimeter portrait lens would have been a better bet because those bokeh balls in the back would have been perfectly round. So it would have been a little bit better. But anyway, thank God she didn't get a whole bunch of additional tattoos. I'll put it that way. How we got off on that conversation, but that's how we get there. Hey Craig, a gorgeous woman getting tattoos on is like spraying graffiti on the Mona Lisa. Gilbert in the house calling it the way it is. Stay away from face piercing and blue hair, and you can be both behind and in front of the camera. Yeah, and they're starting to do the stretch, the ear stretching thing, where they put a hole and they stretch it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm like, and did you see that guy, the lizard guy, who he had his nose removed? So the lizard guy, he had his nose removed and his ears removed and stuff, right? He wanted to look like a lizard. You think I'm making it up? Google it. I'm not making that up. Absolutely, Zach. I would have a look at a Seiko divers, but take your time and do your research. Absolutely. Measure 7 times and cut once when it comes to spending money on an expensive watch. I don't care what it is. To me, bulky watches look best with strong biceps to balance out their presence. Cheetown, California, working on the biceps. Absolutely. Have you seen the 3D tattoos now? 3D tattoos. Wow. No, I haven't seen those. Cheetown, California. That's why I have the 46.9 millimeter high beat diver. Warren is like, cut up and beefy in the house. That's the deal there. I'm going to have to get Warren to come in and be my chief of security. That's right. He can deal with any of these grinders that try to come in. Yeah, I need to calm down. I've been watching more watch porn the last 3 months than I have regular porn. I really don't know what is the most unhealthy, but biding my time. Don't let it get out of hand, and don't spend a whole bunch of money on watches you don't need. That would be my advice. Buy a watch you can afford that you really like, that you're actually going to wear and use. That's what I would recommend. Hey Craig, young people getting tattoos all over their body, neck, face, and heads don't realize they most probably sacrificed a wonderful career with a good company, Gilbert. That's possible. Absolutely, that's possible. It's also possible that they wouldn't have gotten the job without him either, because don't get me started on the public school system and what they're turning out these days. There's that. Okay, so let's see here. And Craig says, hi, Craig. Well, there you go. Check out this Omega. I think it would be a good-looking watch. Okay, Dan's got a link in the chat. Grand Seiko SBGX 231. Okay, let's check it. $231. Oh, no. No. Let me show this. I'll pull it up here. I think no. I think we'll hold off on that one. Yeah. Now, it does look better in person, I have to admit, than it does in this picture. But still, no. That would be, for me, that would be a no-fly zone. Teach their own, though, I guess. Hey, Craig, young people don't seem to realize that their skin will not always be young, tight, and vibrant. Tattoos on old, wrinkled skin look obnoxious, Gilbert. Well, here's the thing. I mean, I've heard that said before, too, but let's face it, when people get old and wrinkly and all, it doesn't really matter if they've got tattoos or not. They look old and wrinkly. I think the biggest detriment is when they're young, it ruins their looks. Their looks are gone when they're old anyway, either way, right? But when you're young and you still have your looks, to do things that are detrimental to your looks, it just makes no sense whatsoever, especially when you spend money doing it. It just makes no sense at all. And so, if you've got two extremely attractive young ladies and one's full of tattoos and one's not, I mean, the one that has no tattoos is the one you're going to go after. She's the one you're going to want to date in most cases, all other things being equal. You're not going to say, man, I love all those tattoos. I mean, that's ridiculous. People don't think that way. Let's see what else we got here going on. Putting trendy tattoos all over your face. Oh my God, your face is like being stuck with a Royal Oak offshore for the rest of your life. Oh my God, can you imagine having to wear a Royal Oak offshore and act like it's cool and like it's and on top of that you spent a lot of money on it? Are you kidding me? Talk about an ugly watch. True Liberty says, and they wonder why they can't get good jobs. Today would not be my 23rd wedding anniversary if I had a tattoo. Carlos in the house saying he doesn't have tattoos. Congratulations, Carlos. But I don't know that you should be spending your 23rd wedding anniversary watching this show. There's that. I don't think Steve's going to call in. It's 30 minutes past the hour. I don't think he's going to call in. Let me send him a text message. See what I can find out. Let's see if he responds to that. No, I told you these Grand Seiko guys don't give me any respect. I don't get any respect. I'm the Rodney Dangerfield of most of you young guys probably don't know who he is, of the Watch Channel. I get no respect. Let's see. I'd like to hear your opinion on Iwc Engineer. Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah, I would pass on it. I'd have no reason to go that direction unless you just get a really good deal on it. And if you really like it and you can get a great deal on it, maybe go for it. But otherwise, I would stay. I wouldn't go for it personally. SBGA 403 was live and in person at Steve's event last week. Awesome piece. David Williams liked the piece. Okay, Steve is Skyping in. Let me answer it on the computer here, and let me get my headset. Make sure you turn on the... all right, good. Can you rotate it the other way? Rotate it horizontal. I'm putting my headset on so that I'll be able to hear you. I can't hear you yet. Steve is coming to us live from Georgetown. Steve, can you turn the camera the other way, horizontal?
Which other? This way?
Steve, can you flip it horizontal? horizontal.
I'm outdoors. I can hardly hear you.
Turn it horizontal. Hold your phone horizontal.
Oh, yeah, I get it. Yep, sorry, ran into traffic and then a big demonstration about Venezuela.
Okay. All right. Can you?
And I'm just walking into this event right now.
Okay. Perfect.
So
I've got you on. I've got you on the screen. We've got a bunch of viewers watching live. And
okay, I'm gonna turn it around.
Okay.
If I can.
Take your time. Steve coming to us live from Georgetown.
I'm trying to reverse this thing.
Okay, take your time.
I'm going to do this. So,
yep.
How you doing? I'm in Ike Behar, Georgetown, and it's hugely noisy.
No word. We can hear you fine.
Yeah, I can, but I can't hear you back too well.
That's okay.
So, Ike Behar is obviously a pretty well-known design, and they have a beautiful boutique here in Georgetown.
Mm-hmm.
We partnered up with them and provided watches for their photo shoots, and we're here tonight. They're celebrating a partnership on a new movie tonight, and here we have the star salesman for the place. This is Steve. Say hi.
Hi, Steve.
Say who you are.
Randy Hicks.
Okay, Randy's the top guy here for taking care of you for the clothing. And I'm just walking in and got to get my feet on the ground here.
Yeah, see if you can get that camera to reverse. See if you can get the...
Yeah, okay, I'll try.
Work on it, yeah. We were getting the up-the-nose shot for Steve. Oh, there we go. He's got it reversed now. That's perfect. That looks great. No, you had it. You had it, Steve. You had it.
Yep.
You had it reversed. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Now you got it?
Yes.
I can barely hear you.
Where's Ben at? He's coming.
Okay.
He's on the guitar DR. Young, really cool.
I'm not hearing a darn thing. I'm going to get myself a drink.
Well, that's okay. Get yourself a drink.
You have a white wine, please? Thank you. Cheers, everybody.
What are you doing?
You're live Skyped.
Hey.
Okay, so this is Ryan Hamalos. He's my publicist. And Ryan, what's this event about tonight?
This event is for Ike Behar. We've collaborated with Lionsgate Film for the movie franchise John Wick. We do all the wardrobe, we dress John Wick, etc. Really special event. So this is the preview party for the premiere tonight. So we're glad Little Treasury could be here.
Why are we here?
We are here. This is a reception to the premiere, VIP premiere for John Wick 3, which we're all attending in about a half hour.
Okay.
Good?
Tell them about Ike Behar at the business, the clothing.
Ike Behar makes tailored clothing, wonderful tradition, 62 years in the business, started making shirts for Ralph Lauren. It's a great American success story, immigrants from Cuba, immigrated to New York, and now have a global enterprise, a global business.
And then tomorrow we're going to have some showing of
and tomorrow,
Little Treasury.
In concert with this, and in partnership, the collaboration with Little Treasury Jewelers, we're going to be on Channel 9 television tomorrow talking about John Wick and about spring fashions. And we'll be using some of the wonderful watches from Little Treasury like Grand Seiko, Meister Singer. We have Frederic Constant, a very cool smart watch which will use there, and real social presence and a great media platform. Love our at Little Treasury. She's taking good care of us.
Okay. Is our influencer here?
Our influencer is here. He's standing right over there.
I see him.
Barnett, DC Fashion Fool. Why don't you have a couple words with him? We'll get his attention.
Okay.
Ryan.
Barnett. He's coming.
Yep. Great.
How are you, Doc? Okay?
I'm very well, thanks.
Steve is in
How are you
motion.
doing?
Molly, the Little Treasury.
We're live streaming this.
Hi, Steve. Nice to meet you.
Yep. So tell us about yourself with your online presence here in DC.
Well, my Instagram, social media, everything is called the DC Fashion Pool. And basically what it is talk about what guys are wearing around town, what events to go to,
Okay.
and it's a lot of fun. So, there's always so much going on, and people have this impression that guys can't dress in DC, but there's so many great opportunities and places, like here, like Behar, you can find some great stuff. So that's my whole mission, is to prove that, it's not all schlubs walking around.
Oh, great. And then I understand you're going to fix them up in some of our watches tomorrow.
I hear that,
Yeah,
I'm excited to see them. But yeah, I'm doing a segment on Great Day, Washington. I don't know what time the segment is. It's between 9 and 10. So we're going to be talking about spring fashion.
Great.
One of my things is, for some people, accessories aren't really big, but you can always do a watch, and a watch can help your look. So that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, so most of the probably 70 people watching this are watch guys right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Watches are, a big thing,
It's important for the dress, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, I'm going to let you go, and I'll be seeing you a little later. Okay, thanks.
This is my
How you doing? Good.
Brendan is my go-to guy. Yeah. Because Brendan and I have been working a lot with different brands.
Okay. I'm getting in a quieter space. You sort of see what we're up to.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I'm probably going to sign off. I'm sort of having to step over people when I go in there, and looking forward to seeing this John Wick movie premiere in a few minutes, and it should be a lot of fun.
All right. Well, enjoy yourself.
Yeah, and what's not fun is DC traffic, but we made it, and hopefully we'll make it back safely home.
All
So
right.
everybody take care. Thanks for watching. Thanks for waiting.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay. Take care.
There you go. Steve in the house. Live in Georgetown. Steve in the house. My mic needs to be tightened up a little bit. But anyway, yeah, we gotta give him some instruction on his interviewing, because he should have been interviewing the women that were there, especially the one in the red dress, like you guys said. But Steve needs a little bit of coaching. He doesn't quite understand how all this works, but we'll get him there. We'll get him there. Let's see, Craig. Do you think I could pull off a white dial Rolex Oyster Perpetual, both casual and with a suit? Absolutely, an Oyster Perpetual. Absolutely, yes, because they're nice and thin, because they don't have the date wheel in there, so they're nice and thin. What size are you going to get? What size Oyster Perpetual? The new John Wick 3 is getting great reviews. Okay, there we go. Craig, higher quality Patek, Panerai, or Grand Seiko? Definitely not Panerai. I would say Patek and Grand Seiko are kind of on par as far as the quality of the dials and the fit and finish and all that sort of thing. But the Grand Seiko, the movements are more robust and will require less servicing over time, and much less expensive to own overall. So that would be the deal on those brands there. Cheetown, California, easily. Okay. Live reporters need training from you. Absolutely. I'm gonna work with Steve. Hey, it takes time, folks. Rome wasn't built in a day. It takes time. We're gonna work on it. We'll get Steve straightened out for sure. Either 39 or 36, depending on which would suit my wrist better. It will be my first luxury watch. What size wrist do you have? Let us know in the chat. And then I'll be able to kind of give you an idea. GS versus Crador versus Patek. A lot of the Cradors, they're okay. I don't know about... There's some of them that are really nice, but some of them are just like kind of like gimmicky to me. I think I'd go GS. Rolex Oyster Perpetual 39 mil white dial, nice. In fact, the OP39 line are great bang for the buck. Absolutely they are. No doubt they are. I think it's only about 11.7 mils thick, right? Steve is at the party and we're not. So I think he has something figured out. Jeff Klein making the comment. Yes, Steve has things figured out. 6.7 dash 7 6.7.75. So 6.7, get the 36 mil. Absolutely get the 36 mil. I no doubt in my mind, get the 36 mil. Oyster Perpetual. That would be fantastic. Patek watches are like Rolls-Royce cars, superb, but they cost a lot to keep up. Yeah, and like the GS is more like a Lexus, where you just drive it and enjoy it, and it gives no problems. 36 mil more versatile for your wrist size. Tom in the house. All right, we are going to wrap this puppy up because I'm getting hungry. We were talking about food earlier, and I am getting hungry. So we are going to wrap this puppy up. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. That's how this all works. And make sure you click subscribe, click the bell, all of those good things. And let me pull up the app here on my phone so that I can handle this, stop this broadcast, and wrap this puppy up. That's what we're going to do. Great show, Craig says, Cheetown, California. All right. And we're going to wrap it up. Hey, click that bell. Be sure you all click that bell. Oh, now, the iPad thought I was talking to it. Oh, well. Thanks for watching, everybody.